Hi, and welcome to Cenario, your partner in mental wellness. Here on our channel, we share educational, insightful, and science-backed content to help you understand your mental health and take meaningful steps toward a more balanced life. If you're ready to learn, grow, and take control of your wellness journey, let's jump right in.
Hey there, if you've ever been on a flight and felt that sudden jolt, that drop in your stomach that sends a wave of fear through you, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to talk about taming turbulence, and not just what's happening outside the airplane, but what's going on inside your own head, and most importantly, how you can take back control. You know that feeling, right? That sudden lurch, the unmistakable drop that just makes your heart pound. It's such a physical reaction, and it can turn what should be an exciting trip into a total white-knuckle experience. But what if I told you you can actually change that response?
All right, so to really conquer this fear, we first have to understand what it is we're actually afraid of. Let's start by looking outside the plane at what's going on in those, well, unsettling skies.
So turbulence is a completely normal, totally expected part of flying. The easiest way to think about it is like this. The sky is basically a big ocean, but with air currents instead of water currents. And just like a boat hits some choppy waves or a car drives over a bumpy road, the plane is just navigating a change in its environment. It's not a sign that something is wrong, it's just physics doing its thing. And I know it can feel really unsettling, but the reality is so reassuring. Modern airplanes are absolute marvels of engineering. They're built to withstand forces way stronger than any turbulence they'll ever encounter. And remember, your pilots, they are highly trained professionals who deal with this stuff every single day. For them, it's just another Tuesday at the office. Okay, so if the plane is perfectly safe, why does it feel so terrifying? That brings us to our next part. We're going to shift our focus from what's happening outside the plane to what's happening inside our own minds. And here it is. This is the real heart of the issue. Our fear? It's usually not about the bumps themselves, but the fact that they are unpredictable. As humans, we are just wired to feel anxious when we feel like we've lost control. That feeling of helplessness is what rings our internal alarm bells. And this kicks off a really powerful chain reaction in your brain. It starts with that sudden movement, right? That leads to the feeling of losing control. Your brain then hits the big red panic button, flooding your system with adrenaline. And this creates a feedback loop where the physical feeling and the mental fear just keep making each other worse. This whole cycle is pretty much powered by something psychologists call catastrophic thinking. It's a fancy term for when your mind immediately leaps to the absolute worst-case scenario. It skips all the logical steps and goes straight to disaster. Just recognizing that your brain does this is a huge first step to breaking that cycle. So we've defined the problem, we get the psychology behind it. Now for the most important part, the solutions. Let's build you a personal toolkit so you can regain that feeling of control and start flying with confidence. Our toolkit is built on 5 key strategies. Each of these is a practical, super effective technique that you can use right in your seat to manage that anxiety and make your journey a whole lot calmer. First up, we've got a seriously powerful tool for your body, box breathing. This simple, rhythmic breathing pattern literally activates your body's relaxation response. It's a direct counterattack to that adrenaline rush. You're basically sending a message to your nervous system that says, hey, I'm safe, we can calm down now. Next, a great mental technique to pull you out of an anxiety spiral. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 method, and it forces your brain to stop thinking about those catastrophic thoughts and instead focus on the real world around you. It completely anchors you in the present moment, which gives you back a sense of control over your own attention. And hey, if you want an even simpler grounding technique, just focus on your feet. No kidding. The next time you feel a jolt, just consciously press your feet flat against the floor of the plane. Feeling that solid surface can create this immediate and powerful sense of stability. Look, an anxious mind needs a job. Instead of just sitting there waiting for the fear to go away, you have to be strategic with distraction. A really engaging movie, a fascinating podcast, a good book. It doesn't just pass the time, it actually absorbs your attention and it starves the anxiety of the focus it needs to grow. Now, this next technique, this one is a real game changer. It's called cognitive reframing. And it's not about pretending you're not scared. It's about actively challenging that fear with cold, hard facts. You're consciously replacing the scary what-if story with the much calmer what is reality. You know, your toolkit isn't just for when you're 30,000 feet in the air. A calm flight often starts before you even leave for the airport. Simple choices can set you up for success. Try to pick a seat over the wings. It's usually a more stable ride. Stay hydrated and maybe skip that coffee or drink at the airport since caffeine and alcohol can actually ramp up anxiety. All right, so now you have the tools to manage the anxiety in the moment. Now let's zoom out and look at the big picture. How to actually transform your relationship with flying for good. And it's really important to remember, if your fear of flying is severe, you don't have to tackle this all on your own. Professional support, things like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, can be incredibly effective at giving you personalized strategies for a lasting change. So, here is cognitive reframing in action. It's this simple. When your brain screams, "the plane is in danger," you have to consciously talk back to it with a fact. Flying is one of the safest modes of transportation on Earth. Say it to yourself. Let that fact be the anchor that holds you in reality, not in fear. So yeah, the skies might be a little bumpy sometimes, but your mind doesn't have to be. By understanding what's happening and equipping yourself with these tools, you can fundamentally change how you experience flying. Which really just leaves one last question. With this new confidence, where are you going to go?
Thank you for watching Cenario. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For personalized mental wellness supplements, visit Cenario.com. See you in the next one.